What's happening around the world? It's time for another serving of News Bites.
最近国内外发生哪些大事？午餐搭配 ICT News Bites， 慢慢的一口接一口吸收最新时事和趣闻。
Well, hello there. Welcome to News Bites. I'm Trevor Tortomasi.
And I'm Paz Bueno.
Taking a look at today's news.
Migrant workers get a little more money.
A satellite mission doesn't quite work.
And one man solves an ancient mystery.
Stay tuned for more on those stories coming up next.
Top of Taiwan.
移工平均薪水增加. Migrant workers' average pay increased.
If we want a comfortable life, 舒服的生活, then we probably need some money. And in order to make money, most people need to work. 上班.
That sounds pretty simple, right? 听起来蛮简单，对吧? Well, some people might work very hard, but still have a very low salary. 很低的薪水.
For example, every year, tens of thousands of people, 好几万个人, from the Philippines, 菲律宾, Indonesia, 印尼, and other countries come to live and work in Taiwan. Many of these migrant workers, 移工, find work in factories, 工厂, in construction, 建筑工地, or as caregivers, 看护. It's very difficult work, and a lot of migrant workers don't make very much money.
But last year, Taiwan's migrant workers in factories and construction saw an average pay increase, 平均薪水增加, of more than 5%, and migrant caregivers' pay went up by less, 增加的比较少, but still saw an average increase of almost 2%.
It may not seem like a lot of money, but every little bit can help make their lives better. Now, many migrant workers still have other problems, like having to work for 10 hours every day. 每天工作10个小时.
Still, they are all here helping Taiwan to get work done, so let's hope the government can give them more comfortable lives.
Going global.
英国太空署任务失败. UK Space Agency sees mission failure.
Control be advised, Cosmic Girls taxes.
We've told you many stories about outer space missions, 去外太空的任务, and many of them have been stories of success, 成功.
Unfortunately, 不幸, they can sometimes end in failure, 失败. And recently, one mission from the UK Space Agency, 英国太空署, didn't go very well.
The mission planned to use a giant airplane to help a rocket send satellites into space. 这个任务原本的计划是用巨大的飞机来帮一个火箭把卫星送上太空.
Godspeed Launcher 1, Godspeed Cosmic Girl on this historic both European and UK mission.
In this system, the plane carries a rocket, 火箭, high up into the sky. Then it releases the rocket, 发射火箭, which carries some small satellites, 卫星, into space.
This time, though, 但是这一次 something went wrong with the rocket's computer, 火箭上的电脑. Scientists said they couldn't save the satellites, 救不了卫星, and had to let them go.
It appears that Launcher 1 has suffered an anomaly which will prevent us from making orbit for this mission. We are looking at the information and data that we have gotten.
This system is still very new and has only been flying since the year 2020. They say it shows how difficult it is to get to outer space. But they're not giving up. 科学家说他们不会放弃.
They say the system has been successful 4 times in the past, and they will be ready to try again soon. No matter how smart we are, 不管我们有多聪明, we can still fail sometimes. Just remember to learn from your mistakes and don't be afraid to try again.
Today's feature.
2万年前洞穴壁画的谜被解开. 20,000-year-old cave drawing mystery solved.
Okay, we've talked enough about failure. Let's talk about success.
For many years, historians have studied cave paintings, 历史学家在研究洞穴壁画。
These paintings were made by people thousands and thousands of years ago, and many of them show primitive art, 原始的艺术, of animals.
Just take the fan brush and go right into that color.
But there were some things that historians just couldn't understand. For example, some of the animal pictures had strange symbols, 上面画了一些奇怪的符号。But what do they mean?
Well, some people in England have recently solved the mystery, 破解了谜团, after studying cave paintings from 20,000 years ago. They noticed, 注意到了, that the symbols seemed connected to the moon, 月亮, and birth cycles, 出生周期, of different kinds of animals.
And they realized something important. 他们发现了很重要的事情。These ancient humans were using the moon to talk about time. That's like how many people today still use lunar calendars, 农历, which follow the moon's cycles, 月亮的周期。
Scientists say this research can help us to understand the lives of ancient humans, 古代的人类. And it's just in time for the Lunar New Year.
The recap.
So, in today's News Bites, Taiwan's migrant workers in factories and construction work saw an average pay increase of more than 5%. And migrant caregivers' pay went up by less, but still saw an average increase of almost 2%. It may not seem like a lot of money, but every little bit can help make their lives better.
And one mission from the UK Space Agency has failed to send satellites to space. Something went wrong with their rocket's computer, and they had to let some satellites go. But they're not giving up, and they will be ready to try again soon.
And some people in England have recently discovered the meaning of some symbols in ancient cave paintings. They say ancient humans were using these symbols and the moon to talk about time. That's like how many people today still use lunar calendars, which follow the moon's cycles.
And that's today's episode of News Bites. This week, we asked you to have your say about redoing something. 11-year-old Ray from Fenggang Elementary School in Hsinchu County says he'd use a 3D printer to make something new.
I watched some videos on YouTube about 3D printers. We can make anything by printing it. Everything they printed looked very real. If possible, I would like to print and play a small piano.
Well, that does it for this week's Have Your Say. Remember, if your answer was used in the show this month, we'll be sending you a gift in the mail. We'll have more Have Your Say questions for you after the Lunar New Year. For now, we've got more News Bites episodes for you on ICRT every day at lunchtime or wherever you listen to podcasts.
ICRT 与教育部国民及学前教育署下次继续和您聊新闻。ICRT App 和网站也能重复收听。
More local and international news next time on News Bites. Brought to you by the K-12 Education Administration. Find past episodes available on the ICRT website and app.